All right, so the question here is, what the heck is metabolic testing? Why should you do it? The simple answer for that is efficiency. It's, can you get where you want to go with your workouts? Probably. If you worked long, hard enough, you got your nutrition dialed in, you did all this stuff with just using estimated equations, could you get there eventually? Probably is the best answer that we can give you. But if you are in a mode where you want to try to be the most efficient you can be in the gym, the most efficient with your nutrition, if you're going to spend time taking time out of your day and working out, if you're going to spend time tracking your food, you might as well make sure that the foundations of what you're tracking are actually accurate with your body. Does that make sense? Instead of using an equation that doesn't really take your body that much into account, what if you could actually just breathe in and out of a tube in a test and get exactly measured how many calories you should be eating per day and at what heart rates you should be exercising when you do cardio to burn fat or build muscle or get faster in your triathlon times or whatever it is that you want to do. So we have the equipment to be able to do that. Behold, metabolic testing cart. Okay, it looks simple, but this thing is medical grade. So I am a clinical exercise physiologist, and this is the exact same stuff that we used to use in college to do testing that we presented to the American College of Sports Medicine. It's stuff that whenever you read a exercise physiology article, this is the stuff. Now there are a couple other places, one place in particular that has this testing equipment. The interesting thing that you will not know is that this equipment was designed first, and that the other equipment that you may find is a, how do we say this? It's an imitation. They use the same algorithm or tried to copy the same algorithm to create the same equipment, but it's just not as accurate. That's just the facts of the matter. So what do you do in this? So first off, there's two tests. The first one I'll explain is the active one. So you come, you walk in and you hop on that treadmill. You stay on there for anywhere between 2 to 15 minutes, depending on what your fitness is like. You have this little tube thing. It's attached to the machine. And the other end is held into your mouth by a gigantic mask, which is pretty freaky looking. But it's a big plastic mask that covers your nose and your mouth, and you breathe into it like Darth Vader for a little while. This thing wraps all the way around your head, so you got a hat, and then so you run on there, and then it tracks your carbon dioxide to oxygen exchange ratio and tells you and it tracks your heart rate, and it tells you between what heart rates your body is using mostly fat or mostly sugar, which as you get towards higher intensity exercise, you start burning mostly sugar. And then it tells you how to exercise within those heart rates to be able to get the most out of your cardio. So you need both, right? You can't just work out all the time at the high range. You can't work out all the time just at the low range. But if you do both, you have the best trained body possible. The other test that we have is called the resting metabolic test. And that one, you basically lay on a table and take a nap for 10, 15 minutes, and you breathe in and out of the tube, something pinches off your nose, and it does the same thing. So it measures how many calories your body actually consumes when you're at rest, because there's three parts to your metabolism. One part is the amount of the amount of energy that you use when you're digesting food and you fast, so there's none of that going on. The other part is the amount of energy that you use or produce when you are moving around, which is what I'm doing right now, and you're going to be laying down, so there won't be any of that. And then the third one is your metabolism. So that's how many calories per day your body needs to be able to do, let's say, digestion, let's say making your heart beat, let's say actually holding on to muscle mass, right? So the big deal here is that if you go way below that number, then you end up over time losing some muscle mass. So anyway, how do we track it? Look at this thing right here. This is a energy balance sheet. This is for your resting metabolism, number one. So if you look in the orange column, that's your resting metabolism. You look at the other one, that is how much you eat. So that's how many calories you need to burn or how many you need to eat to be able to get to your goal. If that's gaining muscle, you really need this. If it's a situation where you want to lose fat, but you don't know that your metabolism has been in the tank because you've been trying to starve yourself for the past several New Years, you also need this test. Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of people get into New Year's because you think, well, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, we're coming up on Christmas, and you're thinking, well, why do I need that test? I'm about to go into a big holiday. Here's the deal. If you start, Thanksgiving is one day, Christmas is one day. The cookie making and eating that you're going to do is like a day out of the week, and that's fine. If you want to go nuts one meal or one day a week, that's fine. But the other days of the week, you want to be priming your metabolism because it takes most people, especially if your metabolism is really shot, about a month to actually get the thing dialed in so it starts working. So think about this in the past. You've gone to New Year's, you start in January, first week of January, right? When everything starts to get back to normal, and by the end of January you haven't seen anything, middle of February, end of February, you're frustrated, and all of a sudden everybody's exercise equipment lands out the curb, and then I buy it at a discount rate and put it in my facility. So instead of being that person, start now. Get tested now. The other thing is, this is the handy dandy worksheet that we fill out for you for your cardio, right? So we track out heart rate zones, low, moderate, high, and peak. So those are the heart rate zones at which you burn certain amounts of fat and certain amounts of carbohydrate. The high carbohydrate range is to help you increase your power production, and the lower ones are the ones that help you target using fat so you can hold on to your muscle mass. So a moral of the story is, we've got this fantastic equipment here. We've got a treadmill. Oh, where's the treadmill? We've got carpet. We've got ceiling tiles, and we've got testing.